Been a while since we talked about Path of Exile 2. Dawn of the Hunt had a pretty rough launch, but then there was a lot of patches that showed up afterwards. They even added in new chase uniques we've talked about in the previous videos, and I have tested some of those, and there's one of them in particular that I want to talk about. But also, what's the current state of the game, the balance of the game, the feel of the game, and when can we expect the next major launch? So let's talk about Path of Exile 2 and sort of break down its current state. Now, just to give you an idea of where the player base is at here, it launched to about 238,000 and peaked at 246,000 with the Dawn of the Hunt League. Now, here we are, all the way in June, way down the line, and there's about 17,000 active players still in the game. I would have thought that part of the reason for the drop-off in players, not only because we're way later in the league and also had a rough launch, but it's also because the Path of Exile 1 launched their new league to about 179,000 players. That this was the first expansion that I've been a part of, the first expansion in a long time, in the first league in Gemro for Path of Exile 1 in just about 11 months. And that actually launched to, as you can see here, 179,000 players and still has 112,000 active. Honestly, I would have thought that number would have been higher. I thought a lot more Path of Exile 2 players would have actually tried Path of Exile 1. And I'm sure there are some of you listening to this that have. There's been plenty of you guys in the live stream that have come by that said it's your first league and you're trying it. And there actually are some free cosmetics you can get by just watching the live stream today. You have to watch for 3 hours. It's a link down below. I'll put it to my live stream in case you want these free cosmetics. It's a rose charge effect here. And because this is a Path of Exile 2 video, you're probably wondering if it's available there. It's not available currently, but they are going to bring the cosmetics over, so if you claim it for PoE 1, you can get it in PoE 2 later. That aside, let's talk about Path of Exile 2, its current state, the new uniques, what they ended up being like, and what we expect next for the game. Before we do that, quick word from today's sponsor. Thank you to Factor for sponsoring today's video. Factor delivers stress-free and ready-to-eat meals to your door. They're fresh and never frozen meals, and they're chef-crafted and dietitian approved, with most of them ready to eat in just 2 minutes. Factor can cut down on your grocery and cooking time, leaving more time for gaming or, God forbid, touching grass. And it's flexible, so you can adjust your order or even skip a week depending upon what's going on. So it's a perfect solution for people like me that don't like to leave the house because I'm busy playing games. There's a weekly menu of over 35 options. There's a lot of popular options like protein or vegan or vegetarian. And they have over 60 add-ons like breakfast or on the go, lunches, snacks, beverages. So you can take the stress out of meal planning and skip the grocery store, all while loading up on some of your favorite snack options. And you can save money by not constantly eating out. Or if you're like me and you eat takeout too much, you can actually end up saving money by not constantly doing takeout. And with the ability to be able to change your plans every week, you can go from only having 4 meals in 1 week to 18 the next, depending upon your use. So head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code 50DMTV to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first Factor box. That's code 50DMTV at factor75.com to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Thank you to Factor for sponsoring today's video. One of the first things I want to show you real quick is I've tested one of these new unique items, one of their new chase uniques, The Last Lament, which is this Desolate Crossbow. And this thing's actually kind of nutty because the way it works is it gives you an additional ability called Compose Requiem. And when you actually use it and you just hold the button, it gives you an unlimited amount of ammunition that does like a pretty decent amount of fast damage. If you actually look at the tooltip here, it's 363,000. It's got kind of this cool soundtrack it sings while you're doing it, but it only lasts for a period of time, and then you can see it builds back up. But what's actually really cool about this one is you can wear it in the offhand, and it still will, compose that additional ability. So you can use it in an offhand and swap to it and use it as burst. The next one is the Whispering Ice, which is the Permafrost Staff. And this actually kind of does almost like a firestorm effect, but in ice. And because it's very similar, I think you would end up using this one kind of the same way you do with Firestorm, with like some cast-on effects. The real chase one out of all the new ones added, though, is the Palm of Dreamer. I don't even have one to show you because look how expensive these actually are. Grants effect of a dreaming gloom shrine, and obviously you're going to get extra damages, chaos, etc. There's only 2 of these in standard right now. And if you look in Dawn of the Hunt right now, there is 3, 4, looks like they're about 240, 250-ish divine. Now, the way you actually get these is you have to Val Orb the newer version of the shrine. You can see I don't have the new version of the guiding poems here, but you have to Val Orb the newer version of them, and they have a chance to turn into that. So not only do you need the new version of the shrine poems, but then you have to Val Orb it and get lucky. So the new chase items are actually like kind of cool. Some of them have some case uses, some of them you have to build around more just for the fun of it, and some of them are like look like they're actually kind of OP. So it kind of depends upon what exactly you're looking for. But having a lack of chase items wasn't one of the only complaints that people were having at the launch of Dawn of the Hunt. We saw a numerous variety of complaints. So let's kind of go through each of them real quick. The first one would have been monster balance. This one we've talked about in like 3 separate videos, so I'm not really going to break it down a whole bunch, but basically monster speed, monster HP, a lot of the monster related issues that we were seeing that so many people were upset about both in the campaign and the in-game, these have been addressed so far, and the balance is significantly better, at least in my own current opinion. It's a lot easier than it was originally, and also a lot of the kind of unfair shit like the minion HP, etc. has been taken care of, as well as some of the running down of the mobs. Speaking of movement speed, however, I don't think, because this is the other, we're getting into the other sort of complaint here. After playing the Path of Exile 1 League, I don't think we're ever going to see Path of Exile 1 style movement in Path of Exile 2. In Path of Exile 2, I have Blink, okay? I can use a Blink every now and then in replacement of my dodge roll. You obviously have dodge roll, you have leap slam, you have a couple basic movement skills and things like Ice Strike will move you towards their target when you're actually attacking. And the whole meta of spamming a shitload of attack speed in order to move fast with like the Gym Lean stat stacker has been nerfed. Now, I want to show you my Path of Exile 1 character's movement. There's my character. This is what the movement looks like, okay? And this is not like a giga in-game character. There are people that can move even faster than this, but I mean, this is just Wintry Blast with some cast speed on a decent mid-level build here. And the thing is, that isn't even like the only movement skill. You can look up clips. There's people going like way faster than even that, using either the same Wintry Blast with like Soul Ether type of setups, or there's people that can move not as fast, but like pretty close to it using like fast attacks on leap slams, etc. So like there's a lot more movement in PoE 1. So when I think about the complaints about movement speed and monster movement speed, etc., I think the monsters having their movement speed was something that was, basically a completely legitimate complaint that was true, that they had to kind of like fix with animation canceling, etc., to stop like the effect of running, having them constantly run you down. But in terms of being able to move as fast as people want you to be able to move from PoE 1, I don't think that's ever really coming to the game. It just doesn't really match like the style of the game that it is. The third complaint would have been loot. Effectively, like, where is all of the currency drops? Where's the loot drop, both in quality and quantity? The quality side of it, thanks to actually chase, are sort of why they're adding the more chase pinnacle items, and I'm sure they're going to add more as we get to the extra league. And the other portion of it would be the currency drops. The last currency buff, they actually did a currency drop rate buff. This would have been their 0.2.0 G. Among this was drop rate additions, but also changes to wisps. I still think the wisps are underwhelming and like don't feel like a very good league mechanic, but the currency drops, let me tell you, they are significantly improved. So much so where I remember the first week people were saying, oh, well, this is too much. Now it's going to inflate the economy and ruin the economy. Overall, I would say that the base state of the game is significantly improved since the Dawn of the Hunt release, but now we're kind of just waiting on a fresh reset and the new additions that will come with the league in order to get people to even care or be interested. And again, no one's just going to like hop back into the league if they've already quit PoE 2 for Dawn of the Hunt. So when is the next league? Well, in an interview with Talkative Try, they mentioned that they're going back on a 4-month cadence for each of the games, meaning PoE 1 as a 4-month league, PoE 2 as a 4-month league. These are going to be offset by 2 months, meaning that in August, as PoE 2 launched here in April. In fact, he even said the words August during the interview. And then the next one would be December. So we should expect 2 more leagues with league resets in additions to content coming within just this year. Now, previously, he had stated that he thought there was a 65% chance the game was going to go to full release this year. I somehow very vastly doubt it actually makes it to full release, a 65% chance in 2026. I think there's too much that still has to come to the game. They did say they might consider fully releasing the game without all the classes in it, and they'll add more classes on as the time goes. That aside, there's still, acts to be added. There's still balance that needs to be done. There's still additions that need to come to the game, and the in-game needs to get fleshed out, etc. So if you're putting my money on it, I would say more 12 months from now. What do I expect to come in August? I would say probably one new class. We don't know what the new class is, though. I would assume they're going to start maybe considering putting the Druid out. The Druid was like the first thing that we saw gameplay-wise. I mean, this footage right here is literally from a year ago, 2023. So the Druid was one of the first things we have seen. So at this point, all of the classes that we have seen like pre-launch footage of are in the game except the Druid. That plus they want players to come back. And the two things I always see in the comments that players say, I'll check back in when the game either has a new class or new acts. In this scenario, I would assume both. I would assume we're going to get Druid as well as probably 1, 2, maybe 3 new acts coming to Path of Exile 2. You have to keep in mind, a lot of the acts, they already have Rayleigh. They've mentioned this, plus we've seen them in some of these previous footage as well. That's how we know like King's March is in the game, for instance. So to wrap it up in a nice bow, current state of the game is the baseline is significantly improved since Dawn of the Hunt. Now we're just waiting for the new additions coming in August. Probably a new class. I would assume some new acts as well. They originally said that they wanted to drop all the acts at the same time, 4, 5, and 6. But one of the previous interviews, they also mentioned that, okay, well, maybe we could drop like one and then another and then another. So they're kind of maybe changing the tone on that a little bit. So we might actually get a new act as well. Where are you expecting to come in August? Let me know down below. I'm assuming all of you guys are going to bet on Druid, and I'll see you live today on the live stream in case you're interested in getting your free cosmetics. That's about it. Love you all. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.